women and the society want masculine men for power and success. Now, in my own thought, I'm stating and communicating that this is what you are going to go through, Isaac. You're going to sleep around with women. You're going to be heartbroken consistently. You're going to believe in love because you think you've changed or you've got yourself a better lady. You are going to change in a certain way just to get what you think it's what you deserve or it's what will make you happy. You are going to work on yourself for the sake of this will fulfill a woman's survival and hypergamy. You are going to try and find order where there is disorder, for you are seeking freedom. And this is just how I am stating. And you know your own truth. If you have slept around, you haven't slept around, if you have been heartbroken, if you have been enjoying pleasure, if women have been pleasing you, you know your own truth. And that is just my state of stating this condition that exists in this modern life. Now, who is a masculine guy? A man that I really admire, the society admires, everyone admires, and we will want him to be in power. We will want him to be the father, the man we want to commit to. Who is a masculine guy? Good question. Anyone? If you have never tuned in, this is the most interesting yet useful information that I will ever give men. I want you, as the masculine guy, to understand one dimension that exists right now. You've had fun with any lady, maybe enjoyed the pleasure, maybe slept around, maybe you've had your ex, doesn't matter who. As the masculine man, I'm not going to define who is a masculine man, but I am categorizing you as the masculine guy. Have you ever enjoyed pleasure? Good. Right now, I'm talking about the past. I'm not talking about the lady you are sleeping with at this very moment. I'm talking about the lady you slept with a few hours ago, few days ago, few months ago, few years ago. And it's now a memory in your head. Thus, that memory bring you peace. We live in a movement of memory where you remember things that happened in the past of which it's not the fact, but you forgot about them. But within a blink of an eye, you will just remember that memory. And think about that situation that happened. Yet, it is a memory, it's something that is dead, it's not a fact, it already happened, and it's not in the moment. But that is how women have conditioned you as the masculine guy to operate, consistently have a memory so that you can want it again. Now, she's not doing it consciously. Rather, the thought of her will cause your thought to influence you, do it again, so that you can experience it again. Before you ended up sleeping with some women, then you had some experience, and then you learned some things. Maybe you think you learned, yet it's just a way of you programming your mind and how you are supposed to operate, because that is how you are conditioning yourself, for that is the movement of a memory. Yet you think that is what will bring you peace of mind, and yet a masculine guy needs to operate on a foundation of spirituality where solitude is found. For Hannah, today she knows that when I appear in a certain way, as a package, physically attractive, my tits and my ass are in a certain manner, I have a thought that this will give me power over men who want pleasure and who think that when they do certain things, because that is not who you are, but the thought in you is causing you think that when you do what she wants, there is a higher chance that you will eventually have her and enjoy the pleasure because of the memory that is in your head. And it's not giving you peace. You are in a state of trying to fix something, find freedom, and the freedom is enjoying the pleasure with that lady. Are you masculine? Let's assume you're still masculine. For you need to experience and things need to happen technically and physically for you to have a movement in memory and learn to identify your own meaning, for that is the definition of masculinity, and accepting yourself as a whole without any judgment of the contributing factors, which are the outward factors. I just have one important information for you to learn at this very moment. This is the future. This is the now. Can you see the difference? Can you locate the difference? The future and the now. And I don't want you to understand the verbal language, the verbal communication, the verbal words. I want you to understand the logic. For that is the only way to be ahead of what you need to be aware of so that you can live in peace. And that is a masculine guide for the society, for women, and for himself. This is the thought. Being present as Isaac, this is you now. Hannah showing up at your place. Hannah will give power to your thought. Okay? And through Hannah, you will also give power to your thought. And I want you to differentiate that it's not Hannah, because it's also the thought in Hannah that will influence the thought in you, Isaac. So it has nothing to do with her, for she is also being controlled by a thought in her. And this thought in her knows that when she will show up, that thought will influence your thought to become the future. For who you are, as it is, as you are, at this very moment, you are not worth her. You are only worth her when you become him. And this is the future. Tell me, is there masculinity there? If you give power to your thought to start becoming him, is there masculinity? Because of her thought causing you, for psychologically women are ahead, so her thought is causing your thought to become him. For being him is convenient for her, and this defines masculinity. So you start acting in a certain way to become him, and it's not you doing that, it's your thought controlling that thinking to become this. Is that masculinity? Come on. This is the most important information that I want men to understand. Okay? Do you know that Hannah can influence you to become in a certain way without knowing that she is influencing you, because she is being controlled by a thought? That is why you have to be masculine enough to concentrate on what is and stop concentrating on what should be, because she is influencing you to become that person, and becoming this guy is when you will deserve her. For who you are right now, as this is not good enough for her. The only way you can control her thought is accepting who you are and controlling your thought of becoming who you are and not going after who you are supposed to be. And most of the time, we fail so much on looking for a way to deal with who we are so that we can become who we are supposed to be as Isaac. For that is the only easiest way that thought can control you, and you can think this future you will deserve her and it will allow her to commit to you. Why is that? It's all the thought. The thought is doing all this. I don't want to have an agreement verbally. Do you understand what the thought is doing to you and why she's always ahead psychologically and why you have to be masculine for you to rule and be in power? I don't want you to agree with the verbal words. I want you to see things as they are. When you see things as they are and you understand the truth as it is, you will understand this as this and not this as it should be. Who you are right now is who you are, and you have to look for a way to deal with your agony, your disappointments, your rejections, and you're not supposed to look for a way to become who you should be to deserve a better lady. Because who you should be won't stop her to give you a certain perception that now you need to become this, for this is not good enough. You have to look for a way to go against your psychological thought. For that is the only way you can be masculine. It's an internal state of being. And it's influenced most of the time by the thought itself. The thought is telling you, Hannah will show up again when you call her, when you text her. Because you think doing that allows you to have a feeling of the feeling that you think you should have and it should be. And you are not willing to deal with the feelings that you have right now. And that is what is, which is the truth. That is the definition of masculinity. Yeah. Do you ever ask yourself why you can never be good enough for any lady? It's the thought in her that is influencing your thought. The thought wants that because the thought can't deal with who you are. And it's the thought that is doing that by the influence of her thought. And she thinks how she looks physically. So the thought told her to go and use fillers and injections so that she can be in a certain way to control you. And that is enough value for her to be in your life. And that is the thought that is influencing her. The thought is influencing you to also see her in that state of being. Bullshit. How will you rule, lead in the society when you're not willing to go against the psychological structure of the society? How? Do you know why it's hard for human beings to change? I'm talking about changing in a psychological structure and not changing on a logical structure where you see the truth as it is and you're supposed to act in a certain way because that is the truth to your own definition and meaning of truth. I'm talking about the psychological structure of the society. Do you know why a man can be masculine when he can't change by the psychological social structure of the society? Most of the time, you will start changing and fold to the psychological social structure of the society by defining what is as not perfect, as not what should be, as not the perfect idea to exist in this very moment. There should be the next is what you should concentrate on because you have the fear of dealing with what should be and what is at this very moment. Do you know why men are often nicknamed as weak? Most of the time is because he doesn't know how to deal with what is. Okay, you got attached to her, fine. Then the issue was you relied on her, you depended on her. So that gave her power to control you. And what is depending on her. and not even being attached to her. If you wouldn't have been dependent on her, you wouldn't have gotten yourself attached to her. Because when you are dependent on her, it will create anxiety, fear, jealousy. And now in this process, your whole energy will pay attention to Hannah. That is when you will get attached emotionally to Hannah. Now, the definition of weak comes in. Am I delivering any message that I need to deliver because I know I need to deliver it in the right way and in the right form? Okay, listen to me. I, as a woman right now, what is who I am at this very moment, whatever is going on in my life, whatever is happening, that is what is. And I am not supposed to look for a way to work on myself to become whom I should be. Rather, I have to deal with what is and look for a way to be in that state so that I can experience the moment as it is. For maybe it is a learning experience and that is what is. And I shouldn't follow the thought of maybe I should be. And what is as an object now is not perfect, is imperfect. And what should be is the perfect object that can deal with what might be. And what is happening now, it's only happening because of what? What is. No. It's happening for it is supposed to happen for you to gain experience and learn that those characters and behaviors exist in real world. And that is just what is. You are never the problem. You are not supposed to fix yourself. You are supposed to be yourself. That is who you are as what is. As who you are. Do you know why our mind struggle to deal with what is? Because of the thought of I lack or I don't know how to deal with what is. So the thought is paying attention to what I should be just to escape from what is. But what is will again happen in the future. If you do not know how to deal with what is and accept what is as that is just what exists, you can be only a different person outwardly, but it won't solve what is psychologically. Am I delivering the point? Because what is psychologically, it's the thought. And becoming differently outwardly without becoming differently with your thought and not following the thought of what it should be, that is when the chaos turmoil starts for your masculinity to finally fall apart. Because you are relying on your past experiences and it has its own place at heart. And you know your own truth. But now you are controlling or limiting to who you are because you fear the unknown. And now your mind is in a flight and fight mode. So you only need to feel or follow your thought of what you should be, which is now removing your identity. And you start living in an illusion, in a belief that you are the problem and you need to fix yourself.